The Purdue Boilermakers coming to town. The Huskers hoping for a 7-0 start. This is going to be an interesting one, Sean, as we begin our Friday forecast because Purdue has a new coach in Gerald Parker. What do you expect on it? A lot of curveballs could be thrown the Huskers' way.
You know, it's not like Purdue has played terrible. They're 3-3. They got a conference win. They played Iowa within 14 points, but clearly the athletic director at Purdue knew that this was it, and they wanted to kind of get things over with now, so they could probably have a coach in place for December in recruiting. So they made the move on Darrell Hazel, and it's a tough situation, I think, for coaches, for the players. Sometimes teams come in with a lot of emotion if they really like the guy that got the interim job, and a lot of times I think the team's going to be discombobulated, and the minute adversity hits, they kind of fall apart, and that's kind of what I expect to see. I think for Purdue, it's going to be a tough trip out here with all the stuff they've gone through here this week.
Mike Riley saying Monday they just have to focus on what they do in terms of the Huskers. How do they handle the success? A lot of people maybe questioning whether or not they're deserving of a top 10 ranking, but their attitude after the Indiana game is like, you still got to win the games on your schedule.
Yeah, it's almost like Nebraska is Iowa of a year ago. A lot of people at this time last year were questioning Iowa. And, the Oregon win for Nebraska, I still look at it as a good win, but because Oregon kind of fell apart since that game here in Lincoln, all the injuries they've had, that win does not get near the respect. But on the flip side, Northwestern now, to me, is a nice win.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win where Nebraska gained some respect for. Indiana's a nice win. Wyoming's actually a pretty good Mountain West team that's 2-0 in their league at this point. So it's all going to really come down to Madison and Columbus. Those are the two games this team will be measured on, Andy. But all they can be is 7-0 going out there, and that's where you hope they are after Saturday.
The Huskers have a pretty banged-up offense, especially the offensive line, and yet they were able to put together a heck of a running drive to close that game out at Indiana. What do you expect on Saturday from this unit? It's really had to kind of mix and match next man up.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Mike Cavanaugh has really had to put all the pieces on his desk and just puzzle it together each week, and I'm sure he wasn't expecting David Neville to go down the first play, and then even a short moment later, Dylan Etter goes out with a hand or finger injury, comes back in the game, but it is really dicey when you throw in now the Nick Gates ankle injury. So you have got two of your best tackles, by far, nursing ankle injuries. If those guys at all are limited, Sam Hahn can play tackle, Corey Whitaker can play tackle, Cole Conrad can play tackle, Whitaker, Conrad can play guard, Hahn can play guard. So those three guys can play the guards and the tackle spots. Utter is your center. So that is kind of what you have to look at. Jalen Barnett could be the next guy up, but I think the versatility of the three players I mentioned is what they're riding on right now.
It's like a shell game. Mike Riley did say on Monday, though, he does not want to pull a red shirt from one of the young guys.
No,
not at
it's
this
not
point.
going to happen.
Right. All right, on the other side of the football, the Huskers doing what they do on defense lately, and that's intercept the football. They have 11 picks in 6 games so far.
And this is a game against Purdue where I think there's going to be some opportunities, especially if the Huskers can shut down their running game. And I thought collectively, Andy, the game in Indiana, considering the offense the Hoosiers are known for under Kevin Wilson, that might have been the best collective defensive performance we've seen in the Mike Riley era. To hold an offense like Indiana under 100 yards, well under 100 yards rushing, and under 250 passing, force the picks, get a pick six. There were just a lot of things clicking, and that they needed that because the offense didn't play well. The special teams had some really big mistakes, and the defense, I liked how they played, and you hope they can carry it over now this week.
It will be the second straight week, in fact, that the Huskers face the top passing offense in the league as Purdue has moved up to the top spot. David Blauser, quarterback, Husker fans know all about him from a year ago. How much will that play in terms of the revenge factor from one year to the next?
Well, and that stat is a top passing offense in the Big Ten. 99 out of 100 years, that's a bad thing. You don't want to be the best passing offense in this league. That usually means you're not a good team because you can't control the line of scrimmage. And that's kind of what Purdue is right now. They have to throw because they get down or they can't run. But yeah, I do think that was a low point. You think about what that game was to Mark Banker, to Mike Riley. I can remember, veteran writers from newspapers here in the market saying that was the modern day worst loss in Nebraska football history since 1955 Hawaii, when a club team came into Memorial Stadium and beat the Huskers, essentially. So there's no doubt that was a low moment. And for the Huskers to be 9-1 since that dark day in West Lafayette, where they were without Tommy Armstrong, they were without Byerson Cockrell, without Terrell Newby, and DeMornay Pearsonell got hurt in that game. And, you know, it was just one of those days, and it was an ugly West Lafayette kind of rain day, and they've really turned it around since that day, though, and you have to put that on this coaching staff.
Well, the Huskers did it against Northwestern. They did it against Illinois. They'll see if they can do it against Purdue. That's beat a team that beat them a year ago. It's this Saturday, Nebraska against Purdue. It's a 2:30 kickoff on ABC locally in Omaha. It's on KETV.